I am going to tell you something about the Dunmore family, about a duke, and about a young woman caught in between them. But first, understand this. In this story, no one is what they see. No one. The estate of Callum Voss, Duke of Greywood, was exactly what one would expect. Grand doors, high ceilings, furniture that seemed to breathe wealth from every corner. But there was more than wealth in the air. There was power. Quiet, cold, unquestionable power. When the Dunmore family stepped through those doors, all of them felt it. Edmund Dunmore, the father, moved ahead, shoulders back, chin raised, a man trying to look confident. His wife, Margaret, at his side, her smile perfectly in place, her eyes scanning the room. And behind them, quietly, Iris, 20 years old, simply dressed, her hair neatly gathered. She was not trying to stand out, nor to disappear. She simply walked. But inside, something else entirely. She knew what today was. She knew why they had come. And that knowledge had been sitting in her stomach like a stone since morning. Callum received them standing, mid-30s, dark-haired, with sharp eyes. Was he handsome? Perhaps. But when he entered a room, the first thing that came to mind was not his appearance. It was something else. The feeling that this man saw everything, everyone, every intention. He sat, gestured for them to sit. Edmund Dunmore cleared his throat and began. Old disputes, a tension that had started years ago, stretched on and exhausted both families. It needed to end. And the best solution, a family bond. Their daughter Iris, if the Duke of Greywood found it suitable. Callum listened. His face did not change. He did not look surprised, did not smile, did not frown. He simply listened, as Edmund spoke, as Margaret occasionally added a word. He listened without saying anything. Iris sat behind her father, her hands folded in her lap, her gaze lowered to the floor. She could not look at Callum, because if she did, the shame inside her would show on her face, and she did not want that. Edmund finished. Silence fell over the room. Callum still did not speak. 1 second passed. 2. 3. Then Callum turned his head. He looked at Iris, for the first time. He looked at her for a long moment, not at Edmund, not at Margaret, only at Iris, as if she were the only one in the room, as if the others did not exist. Iris lifted her head. Their eyes met. That look, something inside Iris gave way, because there was something in his gaze, something calculating, measuring, looking deep beneath the surface. This man saw her. He truly saw her. Then Callum spoke. His voice was even, not loud, but it filled the room. Everyone, leave. Edmund Dunmore froze. Sir. Out. Callum did not take his eyes off Iris. All of you. Margaret looked at her husband. Edmund stood, opened his mouth to speak. This time, Callum looked at him. Just looked. Edmund sat back down, then stood again, took his wife and walked to the door. The door closed. Silence. Iris did not move. She tried to suppress everything inside her. It was not exactly fear. Something more complicated. Shame, expectation, and somewhere beneath it, something small but persistent. Curiosity. Callum stood, walked slowly, stopped by the window, looked outside, at the garden, at the distance. He did not speak immediately. Iris waited. Then Callum turned. Are you doing this willingly? Iris opened her mouth, closed it. What could she say? Yes, a lie. No, a betrayal. I don't know. An escape. She could not say any of them. And that silence, those 3 seconds, already said everything. Something passed across Callum's face, very quickly, almost invisible. But it was there. I see, he said. He walked back, took his place behind the desk, sat, looked at Iris, not cold, but not warm either. Neutral. The marriage will happen, but understand this. I will not open a single door for your family. Not one opportunity. Not one connection. Nothing. Iris felt something twist inside her. Her family's faces flashed before her eyes. Their expectations, their calculations, their words. This is our only chance, Iris. And this, Callum said, is something I am asking you, not them. You. Do you accept it? Iris looked at him. This man had not spoken to her family. He had ignored them. He had asked her directly. When was the last time anyone had asked her anything directly? She tightened her hands in her lap, took a breath. I accept. Her voice did not tremble, but her hands were trembling. Callum saw. He said nothing, but he saw. When the door opened, Edmund Dunmore entered with a smile, certain that the agreement had been made. Callum heard him, but his eyes were still on Iris, and he was thinking, why did she tremble? He wanted to know the answer. Iris settled into the estate. Her room was large, larger than anything in their home. The bed, the windows, the wardrobe. She unpacked her suitcase, placed her belongings. There was little. It all fit easily. She looked out at the garden. It was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. And that beauty disturbed her even more, because she had not come here by right. She had come through a bargain, her family's bargain. It tightened something in her chest. She went downstairs. The first days passed quietly. Callum was in the house, yet not present, in his study, working, sometimes appearing at dinner. They spoke, briefly, politely, on the surface. The weather, the estate, whether Iris needed anything. Each time, Iris said, "Everything is very nice, thank you." Each time, Callum inclined his head and left, but he never truly left. Iris felt it. Somewhere, in some corner, there was always an eye on her. He was not ignoring her. He was watching. Why is he watching? She wondered. She did not know, but it unsettled her. The servants were cautious at first. A new lady, unknown, what she wanted, what she might demand. Iris noticed. On the first day, she went down to the kitchen, asked the old cook, "What is usually served for breakfast?" She only asked. She did not command, did not change anything. The cook was surprised. She explained. Iris smiled slightly. "That's wonderful. I will do the same then." That was all. But from that day on, the kitchen door opened a little wider for Iris. Callum saw this and thought, smart. She is trying to win them over, trying to impress her family. He noted it and waited. It was the 4th afternoon. Callum left his study, walked down the corridor. He was about to enter the small sitting room. He needed a document. It was on the shelf. He reached the door, about to step in. He stopped. There were voices inside. Iris's voice, and another, a trembling, older voice. The door was slightly open. Callum did not enter. He looked. The elderly maid, Agnes, was kneeling on the floor. In front of her, a vase, or what remained of it. Blue, finely crafted, one of the oldest pieces in the house. It had fallen. It was broken. Agnes was trying to gather the pieces, her hands shaking, her voice trembling as well. Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Iris stood in front of her. Callum waited to see what she would do. Would she raise her voice? Call for someone? Blame her? Iris bent down, knelt beside Agnes, took the pieces from her hands. Agnes! The old woman looked up, eyes wet, face pale. I broke it, Iris said. Her voice was steady. It was my carelessness. It slipped while I was trying to move it. Agnes froze. But my lady, I broke it, Iris repeated, more clearly this time. The matter was closed. She stood, gathered the pieces, then reached for Agnes, held her arm, helped her up. Go sit for a while, Iris said gently. I will handle this. Callum remained at the door. He could not see Iris's face. Her back was turned, but he saw Agnes's face. Agnes was not thanking her. She was not crying, not even relieved. She was simply looking at Iris, confused, unable to understand, as if asking, what does this mean? Agnes had worked in this house for years. She had seen many ladies, many guests. None of them had ever done this. Callum stepped back, stood in the corridor. His mind worked, fast, cold, familiar. She is putting on a show, trying to impress me. But there was a problem with that thought. Iris had not seen him. The door had been slightly open, Callum outside. Inside, there had only been Agnes and Iris. She did not know he was there. So who was she performing for? Callum returned to his study. He sat at his desk, looked at the papers in front of him, did not read them. Agnes's face was in his mind, that confused, uncomprehending look. Not gratitude. Confusion. Which meant Agnes had not expected it either. She was not used to it. So Iris did not always act like this. It was not a habit, not a calculation, not a performance. It had simply happened. Callum tapped his fingers on the desk. Once. Twice. I might be wrong. The thought unsettled him, because Callum Voss was not used to being wrong. He read people, always, and correctly. But those hands, the trembling hands on the first day, and now this. I might be wrong. He turned back to the papers, tried to read. It did not work. That evening, at dinner, Callum looked at Iris. Differently this time. Iris did not notice. Or perhaps she did, and chose not to show it. Callum noted that possibility as well, and he kept waiting. The letter arrived on Friday morning. Iris was at the breakfast table, alone. Callum had left early. A maid brought the envelope and set it down. Iris saw the name, her mother's handwriting. She opened it. It was a short letter. How are you? I hope you are well. Do you miss us? 3 paragraphs. Then a 4th. Almost like an addition. Almost as if it did not matter. I wanted to ask something. One of Callum's business associates. Someone named Harwick. Has he been seeing him recently? We were just curious. We were just curious. Iris placed the letter on the table. Her coffee sat in front of her. Hot. Fresh. She did not touch it. This was it. It had come. Her family had not forgotten why they had sent her. She may have wanted to forget, perhaps in the quiet of those first days, in the beauty of the garden, in Agnes's smile. She had felt something different, but her family had not forgotten. Just a name. Something small. Iris stood, walked to the window, looked out at the garden. Harwick. She had heard the name, one of Callum's oldest associates, an important one. Why were they asking? What would they do with this name? She did not ask herself. She already knew the answer. She picked up the letter, placed it in a drawer. The day passed quietly. Iris went about her usual routine, helped Agnes, sat in the garden for a while, Read in the afternoon. It was a normal day, but it was not. The drawer was on her mind. The letter was on her mind. At dinner, Callum sat across from her. As always, well-dressed, calm, controlled. The meal began. After the first bite, Callum looked up. Iris was staring at her plate, not eating, holding the fork, but not lifting it. Her eyes were elsewhere, inside herself, far away. Callum watched. There was something on her face, subtle, difficult to see. But there, something disturbed, as if she was carrying something heavy and was growing tired of carrying it. "Are you well?" Iris turned, composed herself quickly, too quickly. "I am well." Callum looked at her. "You are not eating." "I have no appetite. It will pass." Short, clear, closed. Iris turned back to her plate. This time she ate, mechanically, trying not to show anything. Callum returned to his meal. He did not believe her. But he did not ask, because asking would not work. Iris would close off, say she was fine, and move on. He knew that now. So he waited. The meal ended. Iris stood. "Good night. Good night." She left. Callum remained at the table, took his wine, did not drink. That face stayed in his mind, that strained, burdened, tired face. He had not seen it before. It was different from the first days. In those days, Iris had been cautious, closed, measuring. This was different. This felt like conscience. Callum set the glass down. Conscience. He had never seen conscience in the Dunmore family. Edmund Dunmore had none. If he did, he would not have used his daughter this way. Margaret had none. If she did, her face would have been different that first day. But Iris... Callum stood, walked to the window. It was dark outside. The garden lights glowed faintly. What if she is different from them? He had asked himself this before, after the vase, and he had not answered, because he had not been sure. He still was not sure. But that face... Wait, he told himself. Watch. Be certain. The letter stayed in the drawer that night, and the next day. Iris did not reply. Callum did not know this yet, but he would. Iris did not answer the letter for 2 weeks. Her mother wrote again, more direct this time. Whether Harwick was meeting with Callum, when, where, something small, Iris. Just look. Iris read the letter, folded it, put it in the drawer. But that night, she could not sleep. She had done everything for her family, always had, since childhood. Whatever was asked, whatever was needed. Sacrifice was second nature to her. She did not even question it. She simply did it. But this was different, because something had changed in this house. There was Agnes, that broken vase, that confused look. There was the kitchen maid, who now smiled when she saw Iris each morning. The gardener, who bowed his head and said, "Good morning, my lady." She owed these people something she could not name. Respect? Trust? She did not know. And there was Callum. She owed him more. She knew that. But her mother was writing every day now. Each letter more direct, more insistent. Her father did not write. He never did, unless it was business. But her mother's letters carried his voice. This is our only chance, Iris. Do not forget what your family has endured to raise you. We are asking for something small. Iris woke in the morning, washed her face, looked at herself in the mirror. She would do it. Just once. Only once. She would enter Callum's study. Look at the papers, find Harwick's name, and leave. No one would see. It would be over. That is what she told herself. That afternoon, the house grew quiet. Callum had gone out. A meeting. He would return later. The servants were busy with their own work. Iris walked down the corridor, slowly, hesitating, wanting to turn back with every step. She reached the door of the study. Stopped. There is still time. Turn back. She raised her hand, opened the door, stepped inside. The room was large. The desk stood at the center, covered with papers, letters, documents. Iris approached. Her hands were trembling. They have been trembling since the first day, she thought. She looked at the papers. Names, numbers, dates. Harwick. Where? Which paper? She lifted one page, looked beneath it. Another page. And just then, the door opened. Iris froze. The paper was in her hand. The desk bore the marks of her touch. Things moved, disturbed. Callum stood in the doorway. The meeting had ended early. Or perhaps he had never gone. Iris did not know. It did not matter. They looked at each other. Callum's face was like stone. No anger, no surprise. Just stone. His sharp eyes moved from Iris to the paper in her hand, to the desk. Iris put the paper down. Slowly. She placed it exactly where it had been. Straightened. She wanted to run, wanted to lie. It fell. I was trying to fix it. I came in by mistake. 1,000 lies were ready in her mind. She said none of them. She looked at Callum. Directly. Without hiding. There was shame in her eyes, but no escape. My family asked me to. Her voice trembled, slightly. But she said it, and nothing more. No explanation, no apology, no excuse. Just those words, because what else could she say? Callum blinked once. Only once. Then, leave. Iris left. The door closed behind her. She stood in the corridor, placed her hands on the wall, took a breath, long, unsteady. She felt emptied, both terrible and strangely lighter. She had not taken anything, but that did not comfort her. She had entered, looked, been caught. Did it matter? Yes. Callum knew now. Everything was over. In the study, Callum sat at his desk. He looked at the papers. At the place Iris had touched, the paper was exactly where it belonged. He checked the others. Everything was in place. Nothing was missing. Nothing had been taken. She had not taken anything. Callum placed his hands on the desk, interlocked his fingers. Thought. She had entered. She had looked. She had been caught. And in that moment, in that exact moment, with the paper in her hand, when she could have escaped, when she could have lied, my family asked me to. She had said nothing else. She had not lied. Callum stood, walked to the window. Iris was not in the garden. She must have gone to her room. Or somewhere in the house, sitting with her thoughts in pieces. She had not taken anything. The words stayed in his mind, repeating. She entered, but did not take. She was caught, but did not lie. She stood to lose everything, and still chose honesty. Why? Callum wanted to understand. That night, Iris did not come to dinner. A maid brought the message. She had a headache. She would stay in her room. Callum looked at his plate. He ate. Alone. But the table had never felt this large. The next morning, Callum did something. He went to his study, placed a paper on his desk, in plain sight, right at the center. On it, there was a name, a date, a number, the name of one of Harwick's associates. False. Invented. But it looked real. It would be valuable to the family. Very valuable. He locked the door, put the key in his pocket. Then he called a servant. From today on, the key to this room stays with me. No one enters without my permission." The servant bowed. "Yes, sir." Callum left. The trap had been set. Now he would wait. Days passed. Iris was as she always was, or so it seemed. She came downstairs in the mornings, helped Agnes, sat in the garden. She and Callum met at dinner, spoke briefly and politely. But something had changed between them. That night at the table, the night Callum told her to leave, something had broken. Iris was quieter now, more withdrawn. And when she looked at Callum, there was something in her eyes, like an apology, but not quite. Something heavier. Callum saw it, noted it, and kept waiting. On the 8th day, Callum contacted one of his associates, the real Harwick, who was in London. "Has the Dunmore family reached out to you recently?" he asked. "No," Harwick replied. "Why?" "I was curious." He ended the call. The Dunmore family had not used the information, which meant Iris had not given it. On the 10th day, Callum called Iris. They met in the small sitting room, not the study, not the dining room, a neutral place. Iris came and sat across from him, hands folded in her lap. Callum looked at her directly. "Have you spoken with your family recently?" "Yes." "What did you speak about?" A second passed. "They asked about me." "Anything else?" Iris looked at him, directly into his eyes, without flinching. "We did not speak about anything else." Silence. Callum waited, for a crack, an escape, a shift in her gaze. Nothing. She sat there, steady, neither too much nor too little. "Did your family ask anything of you?" A second. "They did." "What did they ask?" "Something I will not ask you." Callum looked at her. He had not expected that answer. "Did you give it to them?" "No." "Why?" Iris blinked. For the first time, her gaze softened, just for a moment, uncontrolled. "Because it was wrong," she said. "It was wrong from the beginning. I knew that, but I wanted to do it. And then I couldn't." She paused. "Do not ask me why I couldn't. I do not know the answer." Callum said nothing. He watched her for a long time, with that sharp, calculating gaze that missed nothing. Iris did not look away. She simply sat there, as if saying, whatever comes, comes. And in that moment, Callum understood. Completely. Without doubt. This girl was different from her family. Entirely different. The same blood, the same house, the same name, but completely different. If it had been Edmund Dunmore, he would have lied. If it had been Margaret, she would have avoided the question. Anyone else would have cried, pleaded, made excuses. Iris had sat there, looked straight ahead, and said, "It was wrong." Callum stood, walked to the window. His back was to her. His mind moved, fast, cold, precise. But this time, the calculations did not align the same way. The plan had changed. He would still use the Dunmore family. That had not changed. He would still give them nothing. That had not changed. But Iris was no longer part of that plan. She could not be. And that complicated everything. "You may go," Callum said. Iris stood, walked to the door. "Iris!" It was the first time he had said her name. She stopped, did not turn. "I will not ask again," Callum said. "But I want you to know, the key to that room was always with me. Even if you had entered, you would not have found anything." Silence. Iris stood still for a second. Then she left. Callum was alone. He sat at his desk, looked at the false document, the invented name, the invented numbers. He picked it up, tore it in half, threw it away. The trap had worked. just not in the way he expected. That night, Iris was sitting in the garden. Callum saw her from the window. She sat for a long time, without moving, lost in thought. Then she stood, went inside. Callum remained at the window. For the first time, he did not know what to do. The change came quietly. One evening at dinner, Callum spoke, truly spoke, for the first time. Not about the weather, not about the house, not about whether she needed anything. Something else. He spoke about a business matter, a dispute in London, a complicated legal situation. He spoke as if thinking out loud. Iris listened. Then, what exactly does the other side want? Callum looked at her. Money, he said. Only money? Or do they also want you to admit they are right? Callum paused for a second. The second. Then giving money will not solve it, Iris said. First, tell them they are right. Then do you give the money. The order matters. Callum looked at her. Iris returned to her plate. That night, Callum approached the matter differently, the way Iris suggested. The next morning, the reply came. The dispute was resolved. The following evening, Callum spoke again. This time, he spoke to ask. Days passed. Dinners grew longer, from half an hour to an hour, from an hour to more. They talked. Iris had ideas. Unexpected, direct, without hesitation. The people around Callum had always told him what he wanted to hear. Iris did not. One night, Callum had made a mistake. He had rejected a partner too harshly. He explained it. Iris listened. Why did you reject him? I do not trust him. Do you have a concrete reason? I feel it. Iris thought for a moment. Are your instincts usually right? Yes. Then it was the right decision. She paused. But you did not have to be so direct with him. You could have reached the same outcome more quietly. Callum looked at her. Why quietly? Because you do not need to create an enemy. Ending the matter would have been enough. Callum thought about it that night. He had been in business for 20 years. Partners, deals, negotiations. No one had told him this before, or perhaps they had, and he had not listened. It was Thursday afternoon. Callum was walking through the garden, a short walk to clear his mind. He saw Iris, sitting on a bench, alone. A book in her hand, but she was not reading. She was looking at the garden. He did not intend to stop. He stopped. Do you miss your family? Iris turned. She seemed surprised. She had not expected the question. Neither had Callum. She thought, truly thought. I love them, she said, but I am more at peace here. Callum looked at her. Why? Iris considered her words. There. They were always expecting something from me, always. Here. She stopped. Here? Here, no one expects anything. Callum said nothing. It may sound strange, Iris added. At first, you expected things from me as well. Yes. And now? Do you not expect anything anymore? Callum looked at her. He answered honestly, not out of habit, but because it came that way in the moment. I no longer know what I expect. Iris met his gaze. Then she looked back toward the garden. Neither do I, she said. But for the first time, it does not feel bad. Callum walked on, entered the house. He did not go to his study. He went upstairs to his room, to the window. Iris was still in the garden. Now she had opened her book. She was reading. Truly reading. I am more at peace here. Callum thought about that sentence. Then he realized something. He had lived in this house for 10 years. How many people had ever felt at peace here? The servants were cautious, the guests careful, the associates distant. Iris sat in the garden, reading. At peace. That night, Callum could not sleep for a long time. The ceiling was white. Silent. The wind could be heard outside. I am more at peace here. No one expects anything. Callum closed his eyes. He had a plan. He still did. The Dunmore family would come, leave empty-handed, learn their lesson. That had not changed. But Iris. Where did Iris stand in that plan now? He did not answer himself, because he already knew the answer, and that answer changed everything. In the morning, Callum woke early. He went downstairs. Agnes was in the kitchen, preparing breakfast. "Is the lady awake?" Callum asked. Agnes looked surprised. It was the first time he had asked. "Not yet, sir. She usually rises early, but today—" "That is fine," Callum said. He took his coffee, went out to the garden, and waited. He could not tell Agnes why he was waiting. He could not tell himself, either. They arrived on Sunday afternoon. They had not sent word. The carriage came straight to the door, and Edmund and Margaret Dunmore stepped out. The excuse for the visit was ready. They missed their daughter. They had come to see how she was. A maid informed Iris. Iris came downstairs. Her mother embraced her. Warm. Long. Iris embraced her back. Because whatever they said, whatever they did, she was still her mother. And she loved her. Edmund inclined his head. "You look well." "I am well," Iris said. They moved to the small sitting room. Callum was not there. He was out, and would return in the evening. A maid brought tea. The first half hour was normal. Then Edmund spoke. His voice lowered. The door was closed. No servants. Just the three of them. "Iris, the time is coming." Iris set down her tea. "We have waited long enough," Edmund said. "We have been patient. But now we need something. Have you gathered any information about that man?" "No," Margaret intervened. Softer, more maternal. "My dear, we sent you here. You know the situation of our family. We have debts. People are waiting." "I know," Iris said. Then, "I know," she repeated, "and I cannot do it." Edmund's expression changed. "It is not that you cannot. It is that you will not. They are the same thing." "Iris," his voice hardened, "you married this man. You live in his house. You eat at his table, sleep under his roof, and you cannot do one thing for us?" Iris looked at her father for a long moment. Edmund continued. "We raised you. We gave you everything. Now the family is in hardship, and you—" "Enough," Iris said. Silence fell over the room. Margaret reached for her hand. "My dear, just— Mother." Iris did not pull her hand away, but her voice was firm. "I love you. I love both of you. But in this man's house, I will not betray his trust and steal from him." "It is not stealing. It is." Edmund stood. "You will regret this." "Perhaps," Iris said, "but this is what is right now." They left. As the carriage departed, Iris watched from the window. The last thing she saw was her mother's face. Sad, tired, erdigt. Something ached inside her, but her decision did not change. That evening, Callum returned. Iris was in her room. She heard him. The sound of the horse, the door, footsteps. His voice, brief, speaking to a servant. Iris stood. She stepped into the corridor, walked to Callum's room, stopped at the door, turned back. There is no need. Tell him tomorrow. Or never. She knocked. Callum opened. He was still dressed. He had just returned. When he saw Iris, something passed across his face. He did not ask what it was, what had happened, why she had come. He simply waited. Iris spoke. My family came today. They asked something of me. She paused. I will not give it to them, but I wanted you to know. Callum looked at her. Why are you telling me this? A second passed. Because I want to be honest. She blinked. I should have been from the beginning. That day when I went to your desk, even before that, I should have been honest. I was not. You are now. Late. Still. Iris looked at him. There was something on Callum's face, in that controlled, unreadable expression. Something was there. She could not understand what it was. She wanted to turn, to leave. But she stayed for one more second. She did not know why. Then, good night. She turned, walked down the corridor. Callum remained at the door. He did not close it immediately. He could hear Iris's footsteps fading, steady, quiet. Then her door closed. Callum closed his own door. He stood in the room. For 10 years he had lived in this house. How many people had walked through this door? For business, for money, for status? All of them wanted something. All of them hid something. Iris had come. She wanted nothing. She hid nothing. I wanted you to know. That was all. Not to gain anything. Not to ask forgiveness. Only. I want to be honest. Callum went to the window. It was dark outside. The garden lights glowed faintly. There was something inside him. Something unfamiliar. Something that did not fit his plans. Something warm. An uncomfortable warmth. He did not recognize it. Or perhaps he did, and it had simply been a very long time. That night, Callum sat at his desk. In front of him were his notes about the Dunmore family. Plans, calculations, what he would do, and when. He looked at them, then turned the page. A new page. He did not write anything. He simply looked at the empty page, and for the first time, he did not think about where Iris fit into the plan. He thought about what the plan meant without Iris. The request for a meeting came on Tuesday morning. A short letter. Edmund Dunmore's handwriting. Polite, but with something beneath it. They wanted to discuss business. A suitable time. Callum read the letter. Set it aside. He turned to the servant. Thursday afternoon. Iris did not know, or so Callum thought. But on Thursday morning, at breakfast, there was something in Iris's face. Tense. Waiting. She must have heard from the servants, or received a letter from her mother. Callum did not ask. Breakfast ended. Iris stood, walked toward the door. Iris. She stopped. Turned. I have a meeting this afternoon, Callum said. With your family. Iris froze. I know, Callum continued. I did not inform you, but I wanted you to know. It was her own sentence. He used it deliberately. Iris understood. Something passed through her eyes. All right, she said. She said nothing more. She left. At 2 p.m, the Dunmore family arrived. Edmund in front, shoulders back, confident, the posture of a man who believed he had already won. Margaret beside him, her smile ready. Both were well dressed, carefully so. Callum received them in his study. He sat, gestured for them to sit. Edmund began, smooth, prepared. He spoke of the bond between the two families, of shared interests, of looking to the future. There were business opportunities to discuss. Small things, large things. Callum listened. His face did not change. Edmund finished. Margaret smiled. They both waited. Callum looked at the desk. For a second. Then he raised his head. The agreement was marriage. Edmund opened his mouth. Only marriage. Callum did not raise his voice. He did not need to. It includes nothing else. No business connections, no shared interests, no doors. From today on, I will have no connection with the Dunmore family, beyond Iris. Silence. Edmund's face changed. Sir, our agreement. I stated the agreement. We gave you our daughter. Your daughter is here. She is well. There is nothing else. Edmund stood. What kind of? His voice rose. We came to you. We made an offer. The honor of our family. Your honor, Callum said. Just 2 words, but something in them stopped Edmund. Margaret spoke quickly. Mr. Callum, perhaps there has been a misunderstanding. There is no misunderstanding. Callum stood. You brought Iris here, as a tool, not for her, for yourselves. Edmund's face flushed. That is an insult. That is the truth. Are you threatening us? No. Callum stepped around the desk, walked to the door, opened it. I am simply asking you to leave. Edmund was shaking, with anger, with shame, or both. You will regret this. The Dunmore family. Leave. They left. As the carriage exited the courtyard, Callum did not watch. He returned to his desk. Sat. Silence filled the room. It was over. That plan, that calculation, that expectation. Over. The Dunmore family would not return. They would expect nothing from him. Iris was no longer part of a bargain. A knock on the door. Come in. Agnes entered. The elderly maid, her face concerned. My lady is in her room, sir. She must have seen the carriage leaving. She wishes to speak with you. Callum looked at her. Tell her to come. Agnes left. Callum waited. When Iris appeared at the door, Callum stood. Iris stopped. Looked at him. My family left, she said. Yes. What did you speak about? Callum looked at her. I told them it was over. What is over? Everything. With them. Iris stood there for a second. Her eyes did not fill. Iris did not cry. Callum knew that now. But something shifted on her face. That always controlled, always measured expression. Something passed through it. Quick. Unintended. Why? She asked. Callum looked at her directly. Because you are not like them. Iris said nothing. She turned. Left. Callum remained where he was. And for the first time, that cold, calculating man who planned everything stood without a plan. Simply stood. When Iris reached her room, the carriage had not yet left the courtyard. She saw it from the window, her mother's face behind the glass, pale, growing smaller. She watched until the carriage turned the corner and disappeared. Then she sat on the edge of the bed. What did she feel? She was sad. But beneath it, there was something else. More complex, harder to name. Something like lightness. A lightness mixed with guilt. Agnes came 10 minutes later. She knocked, entered. She was holding tea. She had brought it without asking. She set it down, was about to leave. Agnes, the old woman turned. What was said in the meeting? Iris asked. Did you hear anything? Agnes paused for a second. Servants did not speak of such things. It was not a rule, but it was understood. But she looked at Iris, at her face. The master sent them away, she said. Spoke clearly. Said he would have no connection with the Dunmore family from now on. Why? Agnes looked at her. Did the master not tell you? He did not. Agnes hesitated. I do not know why, but... She paused. The master does not speak easily, but when he does, he means what he says. She left. Iris looked at the tea, picked it up, did not drink. Because you are not like them. She had just heard it, from Callum's own mouth, and now from Agnes in different words, but the same meaning. Callum had sent her family away. For her. Without asking. Without explaining. He had simply done it. Iris stood. Callum was in his study. She knocked. "Come in." She entered. Callum was at his desk, reading something. He looked up. Waited. Iris stood at the door. "You will do nothing for my family anymore." "No." "Why?" Callum set the paper down, looked at Iris, with that steady, sharp gaze that missed nothing. "Because you are not like them." Iris froze. It was a simple sentence, 4 words, but it carried everything. The vase, the desk, that night at the door. I wanted you to know. All of it contained in those 4 words. You are not like them. Iris wanted to say something. Her mouth opened, closed. Callum continued. His voice was the same, even, controlled. But there was something in it now. "If you wish to end this marriage," he said, "I will understand." Silence. Iris looked at him. This man had just sent her family away. For her. Without asking, without waiting, without expecting anything. And now, with that same calm tone, he was saying, "You may go." Because that was who he was. He would not force. He would not keep someone who did not want to stay. Iris thought, quickly, deeply, everything at once. That first day. That room. Just the 2 of them. Her hands trembling. "I accept," she had said, because she had no choice, because of her family, because she had no other path. And now? Now she had one. Callum had said it. "You may go." And that was exactly why. "I do not want to," Iris said. Her voice trembled. But this time, her hands did not. Callum looked at her. For a long time, with that gaze that saw everything, measured everything. Iris did not look away. She stood there, with those 4 words, her hands steady. Callum stood, walked around the desk, stopped a step away from her. "Why?" he asked quietly. Iris met his eyes. "Because I'm more at peace here," she said. "And now there is a reason for that peace." Silence. The wind could be heard outside. A carriage passed somewhere far away. Something in Callum's face, that stone, that unbreakable control, cracked. A line. Small. Invisible to most. But it was there. Iris saw it. "Good evening," she said. She turned, walked to the door. Callum did not speak. But just before the door closed, "Iris." She stopped, did not turn. "Thank you." 2 words, from Callum Voss, from a man who never felt indebted, who never said such things. Iris closed the door, stood in the corridor for a second. She smiled. No one saw. That night, Callum sat in his study. There was nothing in front of him. No papers, no documents, no plans. He simply sat and thought. The Dunmore family was gone. The plan was over. The calculations were finished. What remained? He looked at the door. The door Iris had closed. He smiled. For the first time in his life, without planning it, without calculating it. He smiled. Iris could not sleep that night. The ceiling was white. Silent. The wind outside. Autumn wind. Thin. Sharp. She got up, put on her robe, went downstairs, passed through the kitchen, opened the back door, stepped into the garden. It was cold, but inside was not warmer. She sat on the bench, pulled her knees close, looked up at the sky. I said I would stay. She had said it. But was it real? Had she chosen it? Or had she only said it? Did it matter? She heard footsteps, turned. Callum stood at the garden door. He was not dressed for outside. He had not planned to come out. He had not been able to sleep either. He had come here. He saw her. Stopped. For a moment, they looked at each other. Callum walked forward, sat at the other end of the bench, leaving a proper distance between them. Silence. A long silence. Not heavy. Just full. Callum spoke. You knew from the beginning. It was not a question. But Iris answered. I knew. Your family's intention. Yes. And you still came. Iris looked out at the garden, into the distance, into the darkness, into nothing. I love them, she said. They have faults, many faults, but they are mine. She paused, and I knew it was wrong. From the moment I stepped into this place, I knew, every day. Then why did you do it? Because sometimes loving someone means doing the wrong thing. She looked at Callum. Have you never felt that? Callum paused for a second. No, he said, then corrected himself. Not until now. Iris looked at him. Callum turned back to the garden, rested his hands on his knees. That man who was always controlled, always composed. Now he was simply sitting. Nothing more. I was wrong too, he said. Iris waited. I misread you. From the moment you came here, I misread you. When did you realize? Callum turned to her. When you did not break the vase. Iris froze. That early? That early. But then I wanted to be certain, Callum said. I did not want to be wrong, not again. Iris looked at him. Have you been wrong before? Callum paused. He could have avoided the question, turned away from it. But he did not. Once, long ago. He said it briefly, did not close it, but did not open it either. Since then, I have been careful. Very careful. Yes. He looked at her, perhaps too careful. Silence. The garden was dark. The lamps were out. Only the distant lights of the house remained. Clouds moved across the sky, a few stars appearing in between. Iris felt the cold. She pulled her robe tighter. Callum noticed. He stood. Iris thought he would go inside. Instead, he took off his coat, held it out. Iris looked at it. You will be cold. I will not. Iris took it, placed it over her shoulders. Callum sat down again. Will you stay? Callum asked. Iris turned to him. Truly, Callum said. No games, no family, no calculations. He looked at her, that same steady, sharp gaze. But now there was something else in it. Just you. Iris looked at him for a long time. She thought of that first day, in that room, her hands trembling. I accept, she had said. Because she had to. Because she had no other way. And now the door was open. She could leave, return to her family, build another life. And now, at this moment, for the first time, she was truly choosing. I have already stayed, she said. Callum looked at her. That sentence, 2 words, settled inside him. Warm, heavy, real. He wanted to say something. Many things. The mistake, the years, the caution, the garden, the vase, the desk, all of it. But it was too much for now. So he said only this. Thank you. Iris smiled. Small, unplanned, real. That is the second time you have said that. I know. You do not say it often. No. Then saying it twice means a great deal. He looked at her. Yes. They remained in the garden. They did not speak further. Words were no longer needed. It was cold, but neither of them stood. Callum's coat rested on Iris's shoulders. Somewhere, a night bird called. A carriage passed in the distance. The town slept. The wedding was renewed with a small ceremony. This time, real. It was not Callum's idea. It was Iris's. The first wedding was an agreement, she had said. This time, let it be different. Callum had not objected. He never objected to Iris. Something rare, and each time, still surprising. It was a small ceremony. Agnes cried, denied it. The servants prepared food in the kitchen. No one had told them to, but they all knew. The Dunmore family never came to the door again. Iris did not cut them off completely. She did not want to. She loved them. But she placed distance. Clear. Lasting. Over the years, that distance did not change. It neither grew nor lessened Maud. It remained. Her mother wrote sometimes. Iris replied, briefly, politely. How are you? I am well. Good day. Edmund came once, years later, for something else. Callum received him. A short meeting. Cold but polite. As Edmund was leaving, he saw Iris in the corridor. They looked at each other. Edmund wanted to say something. Then he did not. He passed by. Iris watched him go. Something ached inside her. It still did. Every time. But the ache passed now. It did not last as long as before. Callum changed. Slowly. Quietly. But he changed. Agnes was the first to notice. Of course it was Agnes. The master laughed today, she said one day in the kitchen, as if speaking to no one. He truly laughed. The servants looked at each other. The house changed. There were sounds now. Iris's voice. Sometimes her laughter. Sometimes her arguments with Agnes. Correcting something Agnes insisted was right. Agnes refusing to accept it. The two of them arguing. And in the end, both of them laughing. Callum could not describe what he felt when he heard it. It felt like a home. Perhaps for the first time. One autumn evening, Callum sat in the garden. Iris came to him, holding 2 cups of tea. She sat beside him. What are you thinking about? She asked. Callum looked at her. You. Iris paused for a second. Then she smiled. That small, unplanned smile. Always. Mostly. That is inefficient. Yes. He looked at her. I do not mind. Years passed. Callum's business grew. With Iris's ideas, her suggestions, sometimes her objections. Callum listened. Not always. Sometimes they argued. Long, quiet arguments. Iris did not step back. Neither did Callum. In the end, one of them was right. Sometimes Callum. Sometimes Iris. Neither of them kept count. But Agnes did. My lady is ahead, she would whisper in the kitchen. The final scene. Winter. The garden covered in snow. Iris stood by the window, looking out at the white. Callum came behind her, stood beside her. They both looked. Do you remember the vase? Iris said. Which vase? The one Agnes broke. The one I said I broke. Callum looked at her. I remember. What did you think that day? Callum thought for a moment. Why she would do that when no one was watching. And I wanted to find the answer. Iris turned, looked at him. That clear, open gaze, even more open with the years. Did you find it? Callum looked at her. Yes. What did you find? Callum paused. You. Outside, snow was falling. Inside, Agnes was in the kitchen. the sound of a pot, a quiet song. Callum and Iris stood by the window. They did not speak. Everything had already been said. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Let me know in the comments which city you're watching from, and share your thoughts about the story. I read every single one. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.